Hello, viewers. I'm Mr. Ubona. Welcome to our financial literacy series on this channel today. And I want to ask, have you ever been in a position where you know you make some certain income? Certainly, you also know that you pay some bills. However, occasionally, you have this feeling that comes. Where, how, and on what do I spend my money? See, the other weekend, I just came back with XYZ amount of money and they are all gone. I can't even account for it. Then, this series today will be of immense benefit to you, and I urge you to sit back and watch as I present to you budgeting and smart spending. Budgeting and smart spending. What is budgeting? Budgeting is just knowing the amount of money that is coming in and also having a tight track of all the expenses. Knowing, perhaps it could be an estimated amount. It could also be actual if you are expecting a paycheck. So you know how much that is coming in and you painstakingly have to track every expense that you make within a period of time. That is what budgeting means in simple terms. Budgeting is biblical. Let's look at the book of Luke chapter 14 verses 28 to 30 in NIV, and it says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Wouldn't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough to complete it? If you lay the foundation and not unable to finish it, anyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and was unable to finish. That is budgeting, being biblical. So what is smart spending? Smart spending is just all about living within your means, saving for long or short-term expenses, and perhaps making plans to pay off some debts. That is smart spending. In other words, I could say that smart spending is you having the maximum satisfaction for every expense that you make. Yes, you heard me right. Having the maximum satisfaction for every expense that you make. Have you ever heard about impulsive purchases? Have you ever taken a walk to a supermall to buy an item and you end up getting 4, 5, 6, 7 items, and on your way back you just remembered an expense that is more paramount than other items that you have just gotten on the supermall? That is one of the major challenges and problems that anyone who lives without budgeting and who also does not spend smartly faces. And smart spending is biblical too. Let's look at the book of Ephesians chapter 5 verses 15 to 16. And the NIV version of the Bible says, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Making the most of every opportunity, having the maximum satisfaction for every expense that you make. Because that you woke up in the morning and you feel not like going out does not mean that the whole day will be night. Yes, there are rainy days that will come. So spending smartly is biblical, and that is the will of God for you, that you get the maximum satisfaction for every expense that you make. Spending without budget or not spending smartly will get you to a point where you would not have enough money within yourself to take care of emergencies. And I'm sure you wouldn't want to get to a point where you don't have money to take care of some expenses when they come. Because at the point of when you get to that point, you find out that not lacking money to take care of eminent expenses can lead to a whole lot of problems, which is not limited to depression. Do you know that a lot of people today are depressed not because they don't have anything to do, not just because of the challenges, but because they find themselves making incomes, spending, yet they cannot synchronize both, and they fall into depression. They become overwhelmed of what am I doing? So I keep working, making money, and I keep spending, but they cannot actually account what they are spending on. So I wouldn't want you to get to that point where you would lack money to be able to take care of these expenses. I wouldn't want you to get into depression. At the point of you not having money, anxiety will set in. And the Bible also doesn't want you to be anxious. Anxiety will always set in when you have glaring expenses to make and you have just yesterday spent all that you made. So that is why budgeting and smart spending is very, very important, and that is why it's part of what we're discussing in our financial series of today. This lack of money can also bring lack of concentration in whatsoever you are doing. So it means that you will be distracted, perhaps in your offices, perhaps even in the church, perhaps within your peer group. You won't concentrate to get moving. You will be distracted because of lack. Smart spending and budgeting would help you not to get to that point. We would also want you to get to the point where your relationship will be strained. If you budget and you spend smartly, your relationships would, however, be protected and not strained. You find out if you are married and your partner has to know your budget, he or she will try to do the best to make sure that you live within budget. But where there is no budget and expenses are not done smartly, you find out that a lot of requests will be coming and you will have some strain in your relationship. This strain in your relationship can also extend to your colleagues in the offices. It can extend to your extended families because they don't understand that this money has been spent on things that you've budgeted for. However, budgeting and smart spending would actually help you and take you out of that. Do you wonder that some people go to bed and can't catch their sleep? Perhaps they are just thinking of how much they've made within a month, within a week, and how it's been spent. They can't even account for it. So I wouldn't want you to get to the point where you go to bed and you can't catch some sleep just because of you not giving account of what and how you have spent your money. That is why we urge you in this our financial literacy series to actually spend wisely, to actually spend smartly. We urge you in this our financial series to actually spend smartly and also keep to budget. While all these things go around you, you find out that this can lead to some health issues, which the Bible would want you to live healthy as well. Let's talk about importance of budgeting and smart spending. By the time you budget and spend smartly, it helps you to control your expenses. 2, budgeting and smart spending would help you to keep track of your financial goals. Budgeting and smart spending, number 3, can help your relationship. Budgeting and smart spending would also help you to find contentment in your spendings. So you will be satisfied on how and where you have spent your money. Budgeting and smart spending would help you not to be overwhelmed by expenses. When you find out that a lot of expenses are coming, but you can go back to track what you have spent on, you won't be overwhelmed by the other expenses that are coming. Budgeting also helps you to avoid going into debt. Budgeting and smart spending will definitely help you and encourage you to make some savings. And I tell you, spending smartly would definitely help you prepare for emergencies. You would always stay ahead of your expenses because you've budgeted for it and you have already prepared for it. so those expenses won't come to you unawares. That is the essence of budgeting and spending smartly. We desire that you live a healthy financial life. We crave that you reduce the stress that comes with not being prepared for some certain expenses. That is why we're bringing this series on our financial literacy series. For you to hear more from us, please hit the subscription button below. Thank you.